Hey, y'all, welcome back. This is episode number 106 of the Late Night Vision Show, the only podcast dedicated to all things night vision and thermal imaging. My name is Jason. I am the owner of Outdoor Legacy, and I've got my co-host with me tonight, as always, Mr. Hans from the Hans East Texas YouTube channel. What's going on tonight, Hans?
Hey, Jason, we want to wish all the mothers out there a belated Happy Mother's Day. Last weekend was Mother's Day, and we celebrated here at our house. We went over to my brother-in-law's house, but we had a cookout. We had some hamburgers and hot dogs, and of course, we didn't have, now with the coronavirus is still going on somewhat. And if you're
Were y'all
watching,
6 feet apart at all times? I need to know. If
I
not,
don't know.
I'm gonna have to call somebody if you weren't.
I fell asleep on the couch about halfway through it, and I woke up and I was in the house by myself. So everybody else was outside. So I don't know.
Probably because
Yeah,
you were snoring.
but all the family gatherings here for since the last 6 weeks, since everything's been on shutdown, our family gatherings have just been really our immediate extended family. So it's we haven't had all the cousins and all that stuff over like we typically do on Easter and all that. But no, what I did, me and the girls got up and took my wife's car to the car wash, detailed it, washed the
Man.
inside, outside, and she was tickled to death. Man, that was better than buying her a piece of jewelry. Which if I did
Yeah.
that, I'd have messed it up. So I
Yeah,
avoid
you
that.
you you kind of made me look bad when my wife
Oh.
heard that. She was like, "Golly, detailed her car. I didn't get that." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Well, you know."
You got her a pretty good gift. You need to
Oh
tell everybody
yeah.
what you got her because
So
got her a pretty cool
yeah,
gift.
this was well, it was different. So we were in our quarantine lockdown, so I haven't been leaving much. Going to town very, very little. And to be honest with you, I really didn't remember it was Mother's Day until Friday. Somebody mentioned it, and I was headed to town. So uh, I ran and grabbed a card, and it was like last minute. I mean, what are you going to do? Half the stuff isn't
Right.
open anyway. So I had seen on Facebook where one of our favorite Texas country music artists, Pat Green. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are listening to this podcast going, "Who is Pat Green?" But if you're from Texas, and a lot of places actually know who he is. He's again been around for, I don't know, 25 years. And again, Texas country music artist, great guy. We've been listening to him, been to tons of his concerts. But a lot of these guys are stuck home. They can't
Yeah.
travel. All their concerts are canceled, and they don't have any way to make money. So it's pretty interesting. A lot of these guys have been doing, free concerts and stuff on Facebook and Instagram, and people just sending them donations, and really a pretty cool deal. But anyway, he was doing this, offering this service where basically, you pay, he records a message and says Happy Mother's Day, whatever, to your wife. He talks for,
Yeah,
2 or 3 minutes, and pretty cool deal. I mean, he's a genuine guy. He's just a nice guy. So it
Yeah.
doesn't come across as super fake, which it is because you're paying him to say it. But so anyway, I surprised her. So I paid the fee, which is very reasonable for what it is. Got a personalized message, wishing her a happy Mother's Day and whatever. Surprised her with that, and
No,
and she thought it was really, really cool. So
it was really cool. I thought Pat Green delivered it perfectly.
he
He
did.
didn't make it awkward. He made it funny, and
Yeah.
it was like a getting a personalized greeting card, but from your one of your favorite
Yeah, like a
country
favorite
music stars.
artist. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
exactly.
and
It's a
I
lot
thought it was
like if
perfect.
people were paying me and you to do these, which I mean, for a
Yeah,
fee, we
yeah.
would do this. I'm sure there's one person out there in the United States who
I
would
don't know
would
if
pay us. I do. I think it's somebody probably sitting in their underwear right now eating Cheetos, but they would probably.
I don't think we could make two nickels rub together from the money that we made from doing it. But I also so
Oh
happy
man.
belated Mother's Day. I also want to thank everybody. I did get a lot of birthday messages after last week's episode. Last week was my birthday as well, so want to thank everybody for that. Last Saturday, I was on the tractor brush hogging a field for about 8 hours, And I woke up the next morning and I felt my age. I felt like I had just been beat up for, in a fight with Mike Tyson for 8 rounds or 9 rounds. And
Oh, man.
I was feeling my age, but survived, didn't encounter any murder hornets or anything like that. So I was looking for them, man. They say they make nests in the ground looking for those murder
man.
hornets, but
Telling you,
didn't
it's
run
going to
across
be
any of
something
those.
else. Some other reason the government's got to lock us down. I don't know.
Yeah, I keep watching the news to find out what I'm going to be killed from tomorrow. So it seems to change on a daily basis. But thank y'all for joining us today or tonight for the episode 106 of the Late Night Vision Show. We are reviewing today. Every time we do a review, it's always the most anticipated, or people are really want to hear about this. But this little gadget right here, this is the iRay MH25 thermal monocular, and man, just in the last month, 2 months, people have been going crazy about this, and we're going to get into the specs. Jason's going to get into the specs, but talk about unbelievable picture out of such a small little unit. But I'll let you go ahead and go through the specs, and we'll get into.
I'll say
all that
this:
kind of
what I think, you talk about much anticipated. We do always say that. I think that there's a lot of people who have been waiting for this review, and I think there is a whole lot of people who have never heard of this thing.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think they will. I think in the future, I think this thing, as it grows in popularity, but this thing has kind of snuck up on us, and we'll kind of get into that a little bit here after. I think after we talk about the specs, we can kind of talk about where the thing came from and what's going on with it. But this is a awesome little device. So I think, Hans, if you're watching on YouTube, you can see him holding it up there. I'm going to go over some of these specs right now. It is the iRay MH25. The price on it is $4,495. It's got a 640 by 480 12 micron sensor in it. It's a 50 hertz refresh rate. It is a 1 power, or a 1.1 actually, optical magnification. It's got a digital zoom up to 8 power. It's a 25 millimeter objective lens, and it's got it's an IPS 6.7 rating, so that means it is fully submersible, 3 foot for 30 minutes. It's dust proof. It's got picture-in-picture mode. It's got black hot, white hot, and a color mode. It has it's got a laser on it, and the laser is actually has a crosshair that you can zero to that laser, and what that's for. And I want to talk about this real quick because some people see this crosshair and they think it's weapons mountable. This is a handheld or helmet mounted device only. It cannot be weapons mounted. It's got the laser so that if you were hunting with somebody with night vision, or I guess maybe with their naked eyes wanted to see where you were looking, they could see that. Normally that would be with somebody like a PVS 14 or a night vision scope, but you would use those crosshairs to know exactly where that laser is pointing. So don't see that and think it's weapons mountable. It runs off of a 16650 rechargeable battery. We'll get about 3 hours of battery life off that rechargeable battery, or a 16340. It's that battery as well. I'm looking here. A CR123As. It will run off of those. When you run it off the CR123A, the battery gauge does not work. So that's not recommended because it's going to flash at you like it's going dead, even though it's not. So the 16650 and the 16340 are what are recommended for that. It's also got a USB power option. It will run about 18 hours off of a 10,000 milliamp external USB battery pack. Let me see what else I'm missing here. It weighs 9.25 ounces without the battery in it. I can't imagine the battery even weighs an ounce, so that's going to be right about where that's at. It's a little bitty battery, 9.25 ounces. It's got a iris shuttered eye guard on it. And I don't know, Hans, if you can show them that. Yeah. Basically, it twists like an iris, closes that up. Neat little thing there. This is a tiny unit, and it is the real deal. It packs a big punch with this image quality. It does have a 3-year U.S. warranty. And one thing I'm going to mention real quick, I'm going to go ahead and mention it now since we're talking about the specs. If you decided to helmet mount this, you would want the eyepiece. There is a $329 eyepiece adapter for it. And what that's going to do is it's going to give you a better image quality, better eye relief. It's going to make it's going to, decrease the perceived optical magnification and get it back down to what is a true 1x, so that when you look through it, it doesn't look like there's any magnification to you. Again, it's going to screw right onto the back, $329. That is something that we stock as well with the iRay. So if you're just going to handhold it, you do not need that. If you're going to mount it on a helmet, that's something you're going to want to buy. And it does also come with RQE dovetail M clips left and right. That's something that we include with it. So you've got those with it. And I think that's about everything. But boy, let's jump into what this thing is. And I mean, let's talk about just really how good it is.
Yeah, unbelievable picture. 640, 12 micron. I mean, to pack this into such a small little thermal monocular unit, picture's unbelievable on it. I mean, and I know if you found this video and you found the Late Night Vision show because you were looking at the iRay MH25 and you were shopping for it, you've probably seen some other videos through this monocular in some other places. And it is really the image quality, like I said, for a compact handheld unit like this is pretty amazing. When it was first announced and first talked about it, we were kind of wondering, like, what is this thing? We need to get our hands on one. We've got to test it. I've had it now for a few weeks, out running around with it, playing with it, outside at night when I'm, here by myself, or if I'm going out hunting, taking it around with me and getting a chance to ID some stuff in a different ranges. But my gosh, everything that, like I said, if you've heard about this before, everything you've heard about it, if it was all good, is definitely true. Because
what I'm going to say it's what everybody wanted the FLIR breach to be, but it wasn't. Now, granted, this thing costs exactly twice what a FLIR breach does, and I get that. But it's small, lightweight, amazing image quality, and the breach was useful. It's had its purpose, and again, I know it's a lot more money, but this thing has a lot more function, feature, and the fact that the image quality is so good. Now, one thing I want to mention that I was impressed by, and I was really surprised, it does have a digital zoom, and you can reach over there and crank the digital zoom up and actually keep a really good image. I mean, much better than I would have expected you to be able to get out of this thing. And, just zooming it up, it makes it very usable. I used it right next to a Helion XP38, which is a 1.9 power Pulsar 640. And, I like the little extra magnification for some of the longer range stuff, but I was shocked. I could use the digital zoom on this thing and still have a very good image for IDing animals way out there. So, again, very impressive.
Yeah. So, I'm glad you mentioned the FLIR breach, because that's what it does remind you of, and not just in application and functionality, but the look of it looks very, very similar to the breach almost. But we talked about the Pulsar Axions and how small they are. I mean, obviously this is much smaller. It was designed to mount on a helmet. And, you and I didn't use it in that regard. And we'll talk about that a little bit later, because if you are thinking about mounting this on a helmet, we'll talk about the way that we've used it and the why that we used it that way. But you're right. I think the digital zoom, that's the one thing that, some people worry about with these small little units, is especially if it's starting out on a lower resolution. But the fact that it starts out on a 640 and you're able to, you're magnifying, but you're cutting that image. It still maintains the good picture quality when you're zooming up. But I think let's talk about the well, if we don't have anything else good to say, let's talk about our dislikes, and then we'll get into the helmet debate because I think we have some things to say about that as well. But
Sure.
Really, my likes. I really like everything about this. I wish that I was more into wearing helmets because if I was, I'd definitely mount this thing on a helmet. But really, I only have one dislike about this unit, and it's very minor. This thing does come with a rubber eye cup, and I have knocked it off, and I am unable to get that sucker back on here. I don't even want to try. Jason said all you got to do is get a pocket knife and get it.
It's
back
not
on
easy.
there. And I said, there's no way you want me getting after this thing with a pocket knife to try to get that eye cut back on.
I've seen Hans with a pocket knife. You don't.
But,
He'd be whittling on it.
But I've used it now without the eye cup on more than I've used it with the eye cup on. And I kind of like it without the eye cup on it. So, I might keep it off over there. But
So, I want to speak to that real quick. The eye cup, I'll just shoot you straight. If you're going to use this handheld, you're going to knock the eye cup off at some point, pull it off, and you're never going to get it back on in the field. It literally takes a pocket knife or something sharp and setting it on a desk with a good light and steady hands to get it back on there. That's I would say is a poor design. You do not need it. It's a very small eye cup. It's not doing anything major, so it's not the end of the world if it's not on there. If you're going to helmet mount it, you're going to take it off anyway because you're going to put the eyepiece adapter on there. So that's really not a big deal in itself either. I think the one thing that I'm going to bring up, it's an elephant in the room if you've heard much about this unit, and that's that it's made in China. And, I know right now with everything that's going on in the world and politics, in the U.S., stuff that's made in China is kind of getting a bad rap. And what that means is everything that we use is getting a bad rap because it all comes out of China.
Exactly.
I saw a guy on one of the social medias the other day that he was talking about this unit, and he said, I really like everything about it except the fact that it's made in China. I really don't want to support China, and it really bothers me that it's made in China as I type this from my iPhone made in China. And I said that's a lot of truth to it. So the truth is, though, this is a high quality unit. And I think what this is proving is that China realizes and I think we've seen this in a lot of things, really, to be honest, in the last 10 years, is China is known for cheap stuff, but I think this is an example of them going, you know what? We got to get in on this thermal game, and we got to build something quality, and we got to put the time, the money, and the engineering behind it to be able to produce this unit. And they've done it, and it's a very, very nice unit. I can tell you this. If I handed this to you and I left it with you for a week, you would never guess that's where it's made. I mean, it's very nice.
Very good. Yeah. And sometimes when you think of things from China, it's like your mind immediately thinks of like the dollar store or something where you're like, how can I get that hammer for only 99 cents? How does that even happen?
Exactly.
This unit is from China. It's very good quality, very good picture, but it's not like they're trying to sell it for $1,400. It's not cheap. So that should tell you something right there that they're not, they're
not trying to.
They're not trying to hawk a 640 resolution, 12 micron monocular for, $1,000. This, it's not cheap. It's worth the money if you're looking, if you need something like this for a setup that you're trying to run with. It isn't the hammer for 99 cents that you find at the 99-cent store. So.
No, I agree. And I'm going to tell you something else, and this is something that we glossed over on the things that we like. The menu, the general user interface here in this thing, the menu system is extremely intuitive. And so this little roller button that's on it, I don't know what it's actually called. It's a little knob that twists. It does a lot with that little thing. And so I'm going to tell you one thing about it that because I'm the kind of guy, I'm not reading the manual until there's a problem. Okay. I'm just that guy. I mean, I'm going to take it out. I'm going to play with it. I'm going to figure it out. And
Well,
then
wait a minute. What about all the some of the people that call and say, "Hey, I've got a question about a scope," and you say, "Well, did you read the manual?" So
well, hang on. I don't call anybody before
Yeah.
I read the manual. I mean, that's calling somebody is way down my list. But I read the manual then. So I got this thing, and I'm playing with it, and it's it's awesome. I can't figure out how to shut it off. Well, it seems logical to me that I would press in on that same little roller button thing where I turned it on, and it won't go off, and it won't go off, and I mess with it, I press and I hold. Well, eventually it goes off. I'm like, oh, that's weird. I don't know, wasn't doing something right. Next time I use it, same thing. About the fifth time, I finally, like, I don't understand why sometimes it goes off and sometimes it doesn't. I'm beginning to think, like, man, something's wrong with this thing. So I finally get the manual out and I look, and it says that this thing, I don't know what this is called, so I'm not going to say the word something, gyrometer or something. I don't know, whatever the word is. It knows which way you're pointing this thing. Right. So to turn it off, you point the thing at the ground and press and hold that button for 3 seconds. If you're pressing and holding that button while it's pointed out, up, any other direction, then it does other things. It goes to the menu. I'm like, that is awesome. I mean, that is a cool way to keep from having to put a separate button on there.
So if that means if you're wearing it on a helmet, does that mean you have to look at the ground to turn it off? Bend over and look at the ground?
I guess so. Yeah. Yep. Bend over and look at the ground to turn it off.
Yeah.
The menu system, though, very simple, very easy to use. It's got kind of a quick menu for making a few easy changes, and then a more detailed menu for making changes that you're probably not going to make on the fly. I'm telling you, well thought out, better. The menu in this is more intuitive and better laid out than some scopes that are been on the market for years.
Yeah,
I mean, it really is.
Yeah,
really, they did a good job there. So anyway,
I would definitely agree with that. So man, 2 thumbs up. I think it's a good buy. I think if you're if you're on the market for something like this, like you said, I think you said correctly, this is what everybody hoped the FLIR Breach would be. But it is much better than the FLIR Breach. Also much more expensive. So,
and I want to say that, one of the questions that I've gotten is, who is this thing good for? And I think that's something we'd like to talk about on the show when we talk about these optics. Is who is it good for? I think number one, this optic is good for the guy who wants the amazing image quality and in a tiny size. This is something that you can throw on a lanyard, put it around your neck, and you forget that it's there. And we're talking about less than 10 ounces, okay? You're going to forget it's there. You can stick it in your coat pocket. If you wear baggy jeans, you can stick this in your front pocket. It is very small, similar to the size of a PVS 14. So this is what you want for that. And I think a lot of people are going to buy it just like they did the Breach for the size. The one thing you are getting with this unit is the image quality with it. So if you're the guy, again, not wearing the helmet, you're doing the spotting, the stalking, if you're with this low magnification, it's also going to be excellent for blood trailing. If you're looking for hogs, deer, whatever it is, it's going to be excellent for deer hunting. Using this on the stand, a lot of uses, and I think so. That's number one. Number two, I think is obvious. It's going to be good for the guys who are helmet wearers already, and they've probably already got a PVS 14 or, considering it, and they want something like this to help them spot. And we're going to get into that. The one thing I want to mention here, same thing with the FLIR Breach. You need to understand thermal is not made for navigation. Okay, so you are not going to put this on. We strongly advise against this. Do not put this thing on a helmet or whatever and try to drive or walk around with it. I'm not going to say that you can't pull it off, but you shouldn't, because you have, number one, you're looking at a video screen. So unlike traditional night vision, a PVS 14, where you're looking directly through this optic, through glass, you're looking at a black and white video screen. And you have zero depth perception, and it's very dangerous. And when you try to walk with that, most people's brains can't handle that. Now, does that mean that you couldn't walk from, here to your pickup truck across the? No, I'm not saying that. I'm talking about walking out across the field, navigating your way through there. I would say don't try it. Do not drive with this on.
Yeah.
That's not what it's for. Now,
Yeah.
are there people going to do it and try it? Yes. Is Hans one of those guys? Probably. Don't do it.
Hey, you definitely can't drive with it. You can't see through glass with thermal.
Nope.
But, let's talk about that a little bit. So, like you said, a lot of people that are checking out this video are doing so specifically because they are trying to set up a helmet rig, or they've already got one. They're maybe looking to add this thermal optic to it. Jason and I don't wear helmets. We did not use this unit on a helmet. It's just something we personally don't like. I don't feel and wouldn't feel comfortable with one on. I know back in the day, before suppressors, I didn't even like shooting my rifle with earmuffs on because I felt like it messed with me when I was, putting my chin on the stock to shoot. So I just that, and being in the summertime, being hot and having that thing on my head, we just don't wear it for a lot of other reasons. Yeah. There's a lot of people that do. It's very popular. I could see why people would want to use it for driving, for navigation, for getting around in the woods. It's just something that we don't do and we prefer not to do. But
yeah, and that's a topic we may get into on another show someday. But I will say this: we are not the experts. Helmet style hunting does not fit what we do. Not ideally. We do a lot of walking. We do, and I know people go, well, that's exactly when you need it. Yeah. But some of the conditions that we're in, it's just doesn't make a lot of sense for us. So everybody's got their own way of doing it. That's perfectly fine. But I know there's going to be a lot of guys that want to do this. A lot of guys are already going to have a PVS 14. They're going to put this on a bridge. They're going to be able to flip one up, one down, whatever. And all that mounting hardware is available. I'm going to say this. That is the one area that Hans and I are not experts in. I'm sure that our wives would say there's many areas we're not experts in. But but in all seriousness, that is one of the places where rigging up these helmets, there is a lot of ways to skin this cat. And there's a lot of parts. The parts are very expensive if done correctly, and quality parts are used. And so, but I'm telling you, I've already, without even trying, we've sold a good many of these. Like I literally, before I was sold one, the day I got mine, I shipped one out and delivered it to another guy. I mean, it was like, he called, he said he wanted it. And I said, man, mine's just coming in. He said, we'll order two. He goes, I want one. I already, and he's been posting all over social media, bragging on this thing and going on. Everybody's bought one has really, really liked it. So I do think that they're going to be great. One more thing I do want to mention here, though, is about the warranty. There's been some questions about, hey, if this thing comes out of China, is this going to be something that I've got to worry about the warranty? No. This has a 3-year bumper-to-bumper U.S. warranty. Okay? So you're going to handle this. There's a website. If you want to go check it out, if you're concerned about it, it is INFIRAY. So it's INFIRAYUSA.com. And you're going to see that the warranty for this, everything is handled here in Texas. And again, it is a 3-year bumper to bumper, so you do not have to worry about going to China or anything like that. If you pick one of these things up somewhere besides one of these units that came from the U.S. through this division, through a U.S. dealer, then you will have no U.S. warranty, and you will have to deal with China on that. So that's just one thing to know. You need to be buying these. Some of these are floating around that are not coming through this U.S. distributor, this U.S. channel. And if you pick one of those up, you have no U.S. warranty on it. So you need to go through to get this 3-year warranty here in the U.S.
Yeah, definitely buy it from a proper dealer that's selling them through that.
Such as Outdoor Legacy.
Outdoor Legacy.
Shameless plug. No,
you can find them right now on OutdoorLegacyGear.com.
That's exactly right. I don't know how many we got left. We've been selling through them, but yeah, I think we got a couple anyway. So check it out. If you got questions about it, let us know. The video recording that you see out of these units that you've already seen online, I know Hans is going to be trying to get some too. That is all being done from behind the eyepiece, literally putting a camera up behind it so that you're looking through the eyepiece and seeing what the end user is seeing. There is some video recording options with video out with cables, but that's definitely not going to give you the image quality that you would like to get from, internal recording or viewing from behind it. So just so you know where
Definitely.
that video is coming from, that's where it's at. And if you've got any more questions about this thing, give us a holler anytime, because we'll be glad to answer questions about it. Like I said, we have used it in the field, and we can help you any way we can. But I think you'd be very impressed if you're looking for something like this.
Yeah, this is us using this and the application we would use it for. Jason said, how do you get around and walking with thermal? Typically what we do is we walk for a little bit, we scan with the thermal monocular, we walk a little bit more, we'll scan. And I see this being perfect for just convenience, having it in your pocket, not have, you see guys out there, I have seen people with Trigicons on lanyards around their neck where they're using it as a monocular.
Absolutely.
I'm not trying to claim that this has the Trigicon image quality, but it's a 640 12 micron.
That's dang good.
And for this size unit, probably the best picture quality that you can find in a thermal monocular that size. And if you're not going to mount it on a helmet, it'll make a perfect little monocular to carry around with you. For doing anything, hunting applications, farming, ranching that we've talked about in the past, the best thermal uses. If you're using this to check on cows, you just want something to throw in the center console real quick, it'll be perfect for it. But yeah, if y'all want to check this out, outdoorlegacygear.com. You can call Jason at 877-350-1818. I will be doing a formal review on my Hansi's Texas YouTube channel, as it has been put in line. Next week, I'm still working on the Helion 2 XP50 review, as well as the Thermion, Pulsar Thermion XQ50.
As well as the Pulsar Axion XM30S. And what else? You got another AGM review, don't you?
You got an AGM review? Yeah,
we've got so much stuff. It's backed up.
I heard from AGM right now that the Micro 384s are close to being here pretty soon, maybe. So
the Micro 384s?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're in stock. We have them.
Look at there.
We have them. We got those in last week. The AGM asked Micro 384 for $13.25, I believe. 1 power base mag. We've got them in stock. Yeah, you and I've been demoing those, but they are. We got a small shipment of them, so we got them. So yeah, there's a lot going on.
That review will be coming up pretty soon, because we need to talk about that. A lot of people have been asking about it, but
I know. Well, we need to talk about that, and we're waiting on it. It should be coming. That's the AGM Micro 160. That's the $500 unit that everybody, we teased it a couple times, and that unit should be coming very soon as well. And we'll have to stick that review in somewhere in the middle of all these others.
I promise. We've had several people called it that want to see videos. Jason and I have not seen that since SHOT Show. We have not had a chance to take it out, test it, use it, video.
The 160?
The Micro. Oh, we did. Yeah, we did have it for a couple days, right?
We did. We had it a short amount of time, a couple weeks, but it was the only one they had in the U.S., and we didn't feel comfortable reviewing it until we saw another model of it. I from everything I'm told, it's exactly the same. Nothing has changed, but we just wanted to be sure. We didn't want to do a review on a prototype, knowing it was the only one that was in the country.
Yeah, and I say that for the reason of saying, as soon as we get one in our hands that we can keep for a while, there will be video posted of it. We will take it out.
When we and this is, we're kind of showing that we don't talk that much before the show, but yeah, when we get them, we should have a production shipment, because I talked to AGM last week about it, and they said they are coming very soon. And rather than just getting us 1 or 2 units, I think we're going to get our whole shipment. So we should be able just to pull units off of our shipment. So we will be using final production, units that are on the market. So it's going to be good. So I'm excited about it. Stay tuned for that, as well as all these other reviews. Hans has his work cut out for him. So
I'm a lucky man. I got a room full of thermals to check out and review, and just need a few more hogs to poke their nose out of the brush.
Exactly. Well, I know. I was tonight before the show. I was out there looking across my pasture, and I was like, "Oh wow, look at all those hogs out there! I cannot believe it." And I mean, I'm looking with a high end 640 optic, and I'm looking at, oh my goodness, and they're walking around, and finally I see a head poke up, and I go, "That's a deer." The grass is so tall.
Get out
that,
there.
I mean,
And cut
they
your
look.
grass, son.
No, it's too wet. But hey, folks, listen, thanks for coming back. Episode 106. This is the iRay MH25 full review. Hope you've enjoyed it. Like Hans said, he'll be doing some more reviews on his channel. We'll try to get you some video out of this unit as soon as we can. If you've got questions about it, feel free to give us a call at Outdoor Legacy at 877-350-1818, or you can go to outdoorlegacygear.com, check it out, and a lot of other optics there. If you are looking for Hans and you want to see all these reviews that we keep talking about, just go over to YouTube and type in HANSETX. That's Hans East Texas, and you can find his channel there. Be sure to subscribe to it and click the little notification button. That way you will know every time he releases a new video. And you can also check him out on Instagram. He's always posting short video clips and some awesome photos of his kills and optics and rifles and setups over there. So check that out as well. And we always appreciate your support with Hans as well as at outdoorlegacygear.com.
Yeah, on Instagram, there's usually quite a bit more videos that go up on Instagram, on my Instagram, just because they are short videos that show some pixel quality and examples of different optics, so you can definitely check that out. But thank you all again joining us for episode 106. This has been the iRay MH25 Thermal Monocular Review. Please subscribe to us on the Late Night Vision Show YouTube channel. And if you're checking it out on iTunes, please give us a good rating on there. And if Google Play does that, which I don't know, please give us 10 stars on there if that's what they do. Have no clue. But appreciate it. We'll be back again next Thursday for episode 107. Like Jason said, we've got a lot of reviews coming up. We've got some more thermal hog and coyote hunting talk, but we will talk at you soon. Y'all take care. Stay safe in the fields. Keep making the bacon pancakes.